I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday. Welcome back to Dem and Bro. My name's Chelsea.
And I'm Brian. And this episode is the Tortured Podcast Department.
And Noah's here to visit, to take us through it.
And he has his back towards you guys because, easy.
Oh.
Well, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be, and you should subscribe. But Noah is here with us today to share his thoughts about Miss Taylor Swift's new album. And yeah, I feel like we're going to spend a little bit of time on that.
There will be a little bit of time.
Yeah. Should we just let's cut to the chase?
Let's just dive in. Listen, here's the thing. Even if you aren't a Taylor Swift fan and you're listening to it, I feel like you should have given the album a shot. You should have at least opened it up, taken a look, and been like, I need to know what all the hype is about. And maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't. But I do feel like you have to be kind of in on the lore that is Taylor Swift in order to fully appreciate this album.
Well, that's why I kind of disagree with what you just said. Like, if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, don't even bother, because this is not going to be the album that convinces you to be a Taylor Swift fan.
I agree. But I'm saying if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, you probably have at least listened to some of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's no way you're just like, no, I'm not listening. I hope. I even things I don't like, I want to get how people get it. But
yeah, I get that too. But I feel like there's a lot of people who go into it knowing they're not going to like it because they've already made their mind up about the artist. And, they just come up with a bunch of think pieces of why the music sucks. And I find it really strange that so many people, the day after the album came out, have so many thoughts. I'm like, how do you have so many thoughts on 31 songs?
Right.
Less than 24 hours. Right?
There was so much to process.
Yeah. So I went to Maryland last weekend. I went on Thursday night. And as we all know, the album dropped at midnight. So I did give it a full listen, the first half of the album, because I didn't know that there was a second part until I woke up. So I gave it one full listen. And to be completely honest, I wasn't convinced. I was like, oh no, this might not be great. There was definitely a handful of songs where I was like, okay, yeah, I like this. But I think overall I was kind of like, I don't know. What was your first initial?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
But you didn't get through it the first.
No. So I did stay up until midnight, which if you know me, is a feat. And then once I started listening, I made it through 5 songs before I went to sleep because I stayed up by cleaning my apartment and doing all of these things. So once I just settled down and was just listening to music, my brain was like, and we're done.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first song was Fortnite, and I was like, oh, this slaps.
Yes.
So I think just going in, my initial reaction was like, this is great. And honestly, on the flip side, that could be why I like it so much, is because I went into it thinking, oh, this is going to be amazing. And now I feel like it's amazing.
I definitely went into it. I mean, we said this is our favorite album before we had even heard it.
True.
Fortnite, great opener. I would argue it might be the best album opener that she has. I think so. Fortnite is so good. And we can talk about the video in a little bit. But where was I going with that? Yeah. So I think maybe the reason why my very, very first initial reaction, and spoiler alert, I'm obsessed now. But my very first reaction was not sure, is because it is a chaotic and it is a kind of messy album. And I think that's a lot of the reviews I'm seeing, which I made a conscious decision. I don't give a fuck what people think, actually. But that's what a lot of the reviews, and when I say reviews, I mean fucking losers on TikTok that think they know everything.
Right.
That's a lot of the words that I'm seeing. It's chaotic, it's messy, it's all over the place.
Okay.
Do you not think that was intentional?
Right.
Miss Taylor Swift is a perfectionist. The chaoticness of this album is definitely intentional. I'm very convinced of that.
Right. And like they're poems, people.
Yes.
People are like, oh, it's so wordy. And I'm just like, wait, what do you mean?
Yes.
It's the Tortured Poets Department. These are poems.
Didn't I say that too?
You did.
I was like, oh my God, these just like, it sounds like a bunch of poems. And then I texted you guys. I was like, wait, but then I remember what the name of the album is. Like, it really does sound like she couldn't stop writing and she went straight to the studio and just like fucking poured it all out.
Give me a
there.
beat, Jack.
Yes. And I love that. I feel like
Yeah.
it is like, it is definitely her most vulnerable, her most self-referential album. That's why I don't think it's for everyone. And that's okay. And come on, guys. Like, do you really think Taylor is at the point of her career where she is, one, needs new fans or is even striving for that? She does not need you.
She kind of actually like threw a little bit of shade on some fans in one of the songs where it's "But Daddy, I Love Him," I think.
What do you mean shade?
Well, to where she was like, if I want the opinions of Hannah's and Sarah's,
Oh.
like basically go fuck yourself.
Oh,
don't
you're
tell
right.
don't tell me you care about me and this is why you're like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna, like, I built this name, if I want to toss it, if I want to blow it up, I'll blow it up.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck yeah,
I love,
bitch.
like, you don't have to pray for me.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's become one of my favorite songs on the album, actually, But Daddy, I Love You. Because I think it's one of the songs that she has fun with. She has fun. Like, the album is not a fun album. There's a handful that are. But that one, I just love the, like, almost like campiness of it. I mean, she got me good when she said, I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. She got me.
Dude, she's literally trolling
Yeah.
everyone.
And I love that. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, it's just like, it's really good.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite tracks?
The Prophecy is one of my favorites, but I feel like that's just like indicative of a place in my life.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to have their ones that feel more personal, but
Wait, you just said something. That's something that I think is so important to explain about Taylor Swift's music is that I think, and I'm sure this goes for a lot of other artists too, but for Taylor Swift specifically, I think her music takes you to a place that has nothing to do with the music. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It takes you to a time and place that makes you feel that time and place. And it's not because of the song, where like some music, you hear it and it takes you back to a time and place where you heard that song. And the memory is the song. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Taylor's music, you jump right into this like story of your own that is so relatable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So somebody explained this to me and I was trying to think of what it was, but it was like not necessarily comparing Beyonce and Taylor Swift, but like talking about what they do and what they do so well. And it was like Beyonce makes the communal personal. So like really brings together like the Black community, the queer community. Like Beyonce does a lot of those things, like makes communal personal, and Taylor Swift makes the personal communal.
Mhm.
So she like says what everyone is feeling and everybody's like, oh, that's it. I mean, she kind of like puts a name to what you're thinking. You're like, oh, I feel that, but I've never put that into words.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable actually what she can do. It seems so simple because the way she paints a picture, it seems very simple, but it's not. Like the way she says things is like a way that none of us would ever say it, but
Yeah.
it's just like
You
it
can say
clicks.
that you can do it, but you haven't.
Yeah. Okay, so The Prophecy is one of your favorites. What are some of your others?
The other one is Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one hits.
At first
every
that
time.
was like my first listen. I was like, I don't know about this because like the dance break seemed like very like random, but it makes total sense. And I remember thinking when I was listening to that song, I was like, this reminds me of her like preparing for the Eras or like doing the Eras tour, and the lyric. Have you seen like the lyric video on YouTube, like the official lyric video? it's her in the Eras tour.
Well, and the beats that are in
Yeah.
are like the beats
The
in her
countdowns.
headphones.
Yeah. And she's like
Yeah.
talking about hitting her marks. And I was like, it's a
Which
really,
like kind of makes you sad to think that you're like, yeah, you're down bad.
yeah. No, it does, because she's like doing like the biggest thing of her career and her life. And in the middle of it, she's going through like a heartbreak.
Well, and we're all sitting there watching, or I mean, some of us from the parking lot, but thinking like, wow, like what a huge achievement. I wonder if she's just like sitting there soaking it all up when in actuality, she's like depressed as hell.
Yeah.
But
and no one even noticed.
it's show business. That's show business.
Yeah. Down Bad is one of my favorites. My number one right now is Guilty as Sin. And something I've noticed about her songs as of like the last few albums, I think it really started with Folklore and Evermore, but it was like super prevalent in Midnights, is she does this thing where she starts off like really slow, and even like the first chorus is in that same like slow tempo of like the first verse, and then the second chorus picks up a little bit, and then she like really fucking
crushes the bridge,
and then like big chorus after the bridge. Whereas I think like traditionally songs, like the chorus is like pretty identical like each time it's presented, and I think because a lot of the criticism that I'm seeing is like it's boring, and I feel like a lot of people these songs are long. This is not like albums that you're hearing nowadays where each song is 2.5 minutes. She's putting out 4.5 minute songs. The average song is probably like 4 minutes. I think a lot of people's attention span, they're not listening to the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're listening to like the first minute and they're like, oh, it didn't hit, there's no drop or anything. So they're out. And it's like, you're not giving it enough time.
You're not giving it enough time.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
I really am too. I don't know how people are going to love this podcast, but we're almost done, I think. But I think one of the things that like kind of annoys me about the criticism is, and as I was saying before, is like I actually don't care anymore. Like the first couple of days I was like, I guess I was just scrolling on TikTok and just listening, but now I just are you nervous about Noah?
A little.
I think you're fine.
That's okay.
Is how comfortable people are sharing how much Taylor Swift sucks. It's like I don't know.
Here's an award.
I don't know if anyone shares who their least favorite artist is unless it's Taylor Swift. Like, I don't know anyone's least favorite artist unless it's Taylor Swift. Like, I have some friends who don't like her. Like, why is that? It's weird.
I mean, she's at the top. So like you're gonna get both. Nobody else is at the top.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like you knew you weren't going to like it. You went and listened to it, and then you ran to social media to share how much you didn't like it. Who does that?
Okay.
It's like very loser energy. I saw this one like review. This guy, I don't think he has any business like reviewing music, but he does it. It's like his thing on TikTok. It's just like a bald man. He kind of looks like me, honestly. But
no.
But he said something about the song "Who's Afraid of Little Old Me," and
which is one of my favorites. That one is one of my favorites.
Me too. And he was like, "What is she singing about? No one's afraid of you. Like, what the hell?" And I'm just like,
that's exactly what she's saying, though. You should be.
Well, and he's saying like, "No one's afraid of you. Like, stop acting like people should be afraid of you." And I'm like, I went to the comments. You really should be. You look at all your comments. People are coming for you. But like, it's just like things like that. Like, especially coming from a man, you don't like Taylor Swift, and now you're making money off this too. Like you're getting so many views.
These are the same type of people that write like negative Yelp reviews consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah,
anyways. I agree. Loser energy.
Yeah, big loser energy.
Big loser energy.
Again, it's fine if you don't like Taylor Swift. It's fine if you don't like this album. This album isn't for everyone.
It's fine if you don't like her at all.
Yeah.
But like, you can not like things and not say it out loud.
You could also like I love freedom of speech, but I think big part of freedom of speech is like also like you have the freedom to shut the fuck up. And some people just like don't understand that. I think they just take it, they go the opposite end, and they're like, I can say whatever the hell I want, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. We say as we sit on a podcast and talk to each other for 45 minutes every week. We're like, people just don't actually shut the
They don't shut up.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing. The music video. And this is not even as much about Taylor Swift. I would like to talk about Post Malone.
I was really excited. Yeah, what the hell?
Sorry, Noah.
I used to think he was like, this is mean, but borderline like disgusting.
Oh, I've never felt that way. He's always been a top tier celebrity crush of my sisters.
Really?
Yeah.
I always felt like he looks like he smells.
Oh.
And I'm a big like hygiene guy. So, but
did not look like he smelled in that music video.
He looks really good without the tattoos on the face.
I know that, which makes me feel very like boomer mother. It's just like, if he didn't have the tattoos.
Meanwhile, Taylor Swift should get the tattoos. She looks good with the tattoos.
She looked hot in the black dress.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I love him. Like he took a big leap for me as far as celebrity crushes.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I can't we should like just take every celebrity crush I have with a grain of salt after what happened today.
Oh yeah. You ran into someone.
Well, I was riding in an Uber in East Village, and I was looking out my window, and I was like, "Holy shit! There's Gerard Butler is wearing sunglasses," which has been my number one celebrity crush. So I was freaking out. And then I went to look up pictures of Gerard Butler to see if there was like any. It was like, oh, Gerard Butler's in New York kind of thing. And I was looking and I was like, I don't know that necessarily looks like him. And just to put this out there, I have horrible facial recognition. I can remember anyone's name, but your face, no. And I actually think it was Pedro Pascal.
Who's probably like up there for me on celebrity crushes.
Also hot, but like just a recognizable man with dark hair walking down the street. And I was like, oh, that's my number one celebrity crush. And it was not, but also still someone very cool.
Oh, I don't even know who Gerard Butler is. I think you mentioned him on the podcast before. I remember like you talked about him, and like the whole time, like it wasn't until towards the end of that episode where I realized you weren't talking about Gerard Way, who's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. And I was so confused that whole episode. I was like, that does not seem right. Like,
this is not her type.
Yeah. But like, you surprise me every day. So, so
true.
But yeah, I don't even
quirky like that.
You love gay men. You were a leash child. Like, that really shocked a lot of people, by the way.
That's crazy.
It's not normal, Chelsea. I feel like you think it's normal.
You guys, I grew up in BFE, Texas, where like nothing is normal. Like, we talked about how I got spanked at school.
That's true. Wow.
It was just a different place. Like it wasn't weird to be on a leash with my mom at the mall.
That is wild.
I can't wait to tell my mom that everyone thinks that's so crazy.
The amount of people that messaged me and said I'm dead at Chelsea being a leash kid.
Yeah. And yeah. I like to wander.
So
how was Maryland?
Maryland was really good, honestly. It's been I thought I'd go like way more often than I do. I'm from Maryland. I know we talk about me being a Floridian, and I am a Floridian. I claim Florida because I grew up there, but I was born in Maryland, and I hadn't been there since Thanksgiving 2022. But it was such a nice time because we had like a bonfire. We played board games. It was 420, so we celebrated 420.
It's an ideal weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. And yeah, I listened to Taylor Swift in between any alone time that I had. throughout the weekend.
Were your friends there Swifties or no?
No, but they're not like haters.
Yeah.
So they let me listen to it. And in the car rides, they're like, put it on. I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Aw.
My friend Abby, she's on my fridge. You guys probably can't see it, but she's the little girl in the fridge. She's no longer a little girl. She has a little girl now. But her favorite artist is Ed Sheeran, which is really cute because,
okay.
Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, they're good friends, yada, yada. But yeah, my weekend was very wholesome and I loved it.
Oh,
what about you?
Sweet. I guess I also celebrated 420, but one of my favorite things lately, if anyone's wondering, what does she do while she is at home all this time? I like to take an edible and watch older Disney movies that I haven't seen in a really long time. So this weekend I watched Pocahontas and it messed me up so much that I text all of my friends. So if you haven't rewatched in a while, I recommend you do. So I was rewatching and John Smith comes up. And I was like, hold up. John Smith is kind of a douche.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's painted very clearly as an absolute tool. Not even, like, just to, like, talking about savages and that. But, like, even to the other guys, he's, like, hot shit. And I was sitting there and I was like, no way does Pocahontas actually like this guy. There's no way. And so I'm watching it, and then I was like, no. I'm gonna Google if there's like if there's controversy around this. And I Googled it, and I didn't even know that Pocahontas was based on a true story.
Yeah. I mean, it's not historically accurate, but yeah.
Right. Well, obviously, because John Smith was actually a fat drunk man who basically bought her and then paraded her around England like she was a reformed savage. And I was like, I fucking knew that she did not like him. It's like Disney gave us just enough to be like, listen, this is not real. Like, this is not a real love story. But while also pissing me off by making it seem like it's this happy love story where this cool girl dates a douche. And we like kind of like him because she likes him. But yeah, we don't. Anyway, you should all watch Pocahontas again because that was eye-opening for me.
I haven't seen it in years. Probably, like I remember I watched it as an adult and I remember thinking there's something wrong with this. Like, this is not right. And that, I don't know if they're working on like a live
action version.
Yeah, but maybe they're not, and there's probably a reason.
I feel like there should be a reason. Or John Smith should be the fat drunk that he is, and it should be a tragedy as she's stolen from her homeland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
A lot of the movies are pretty fucked up. I mean, all of them are based on like misogyny, but that one is like a different level.
Yeah. And this is what we're rooted in to believe in, like, love.
Yeah.
So annoying. Ew.
Wait. I feel like, not to go back to Taylor Swift, but I feel like is one of the reasons why you love this album so much is because you've been taking like writing poetry classes, right?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't brought that up.
We haven't.
Which it definitely makes a difference because I think I'm just like realizing how hard it is to like say things in a way that not only like makes sense but like matters to people.
Yeah.
So the fact that she did it 31 times, and this is just like, I guess 2 of her however many albums, like that is so impressive to me. Like this one I'm like holding in a whole new light because I'm just like, that is hard.
Yeah.
It's and the fact that some people are like, well, I could write a Taylor Swift song, all she does. And I'm just like, no, you couldn't, or you would.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to be a billionaire?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's even like Folklore Evermore, there's some songs that like I remember listening to still to this day. I'm like, this is pure poetry. I mean, like our favorite song on one of our favorite songs on Folklore is Peace. That, like, if you just like read it, it's a poem.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what's that? Like the bonus track on Folklore, The Lakes. Poetry.
Well, and she's also so smart. She uses a lot of like philosophical characters
Oh, yeah.
in all of her songs. So I'm like, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like she's just like throwing in some bops, which I think some people say. They're like, it's the same. I think I heard the biggest critique was like, it's the same formula for the songs that the beats sound different. People are like, oh, get rid of Jack Antonoff and she could be better off.
I've been
But I'm like,
hearing that.
but this one I don't think is as much about that as it is about the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are focusing on the wrong thing. But that's the thing. People listen to music in different ways. Some people do listen for like the vibes, the production, the sound. Like a lot of people aren't interested in reading poetry.
They're definitely more words people or beats people
Yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes to music in general.
Yeah. When the two can mix very well, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Taylor Swift does that a lot. But anyways, no more Taylor Swift.
For now. Guys, this is fresh.
Yeah.
This is fresh.
Should we get into some controversial opinions?
Let's do it.
You have one?
I do. It's kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
And it's more of a question, but it can be controversial. Do you have pre-check?
Yeah.
Okay. So say you and your partner are going on a trip. You have pre-check, your partner doesn't. Do you wait in line with them?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on trips with you guys, you and Tegan. You guys
Yeah.
don't have pre-check, and I've waited in line with you guys.
Say you didn't and your partner did. Would you expect them to wait in line with you?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah,
Right?
I expect you. But
I mean, what are you gonna do without me?
But the way that I heard it, though, initially, this was like from another podcast that they were talking about it. But the guy had pre-check, and he was like, no, like, what am I doing, wasting time standing in line with you when I could be a man on the inside, getting us coffees, breakfast. I could be 10 steps ahead rather than just like standing and waiting in line.
I think there are different, reasons for, okay, yeah, you go ahead. If you're running low on time and you want a coffee, okay, yeah, use your pre-check and go get us coffee. Or maybe you have to shit your brains out and like TSA pre-check line is 5 minutes and general boarding or general.
So there are circumstances.
There are circumstances, but like overall, like
Wait with me.
wait with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next. This is the two-part.
Okay.
Say you're on a flight and your partner gets upgraded to first class. Do you expect them to turn it down and stay with you? I know.
I can upgrade to first class, but my partner can't.
You know I was going to flip it on the next one and be like, okay, would you take the upgrade?
That one's tough because especially me as like an anxious flyer, like I need the most comfortable experience possible. I think I would be.
I think you would be offended if someone left you because you are an anxious flyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been in that situation before.
Right.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I would be annoyed if someone left me, but I also don't think that I would leave someone if I got upgraded.
Yeah. If I really think about it, I probably wouldn't.
But now that I'm like really, really thinking about it, I'm kind of a little annoyed that I have never been offered. I've taken plenty of flights.
Yeah.
I've never, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I've never been offered an upgrade. How rude. But I also look homeless every time maybe I should
But
bring
you
it up.
fly like Southwest most of the time, right? And they don't really have first class.
Well, I do that, but I've taken plenty of
Oh.
like United and American.
They usually offer to the people who have like high status. They'll go. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you're telling me to just up my game.
I've been upgraded once to first class, and it was during COVID because no one was flying. So they were like, we have seats. Okay, I have a few.
Okay.
My first one. I will never be friends with someone whose social politics don't align with mine. And there's like some subcontext. It says, I want to highlight now that being friends and being friendly are two very different things. So think about things like LGBT rights, abortion, racism. Like, do you think that you could I don't think I could be friends with someone who was homophobic, racist.
There are.
Like friends. Like,
I have some very close friends that don't believe abortion should be legal.
that's the one that's like kind
Yeah,
of.
that's the one, and that is more like a religious thing. Like, I don't think I don't have any close friends that are not LGBTQ or that are racist.
Yeah.
Or anything like that
Yeah.
is not like a like even the most religious ones I don't think
What about
are,
gay marriage?
but that's what I'm saying. Even the most religious people that I can think of, I don't think are the ones that are like saying no to gay marriage.
But abortion is one that they might.
Abortion is one that I know
Yeah.
that we've like had conversations about it. And obviously they're coming from a place that's like, you know, I obviously don't want people to like lose their lives over it. I honestly think even the most the biggest Christians or whatever your religion is, I think that they still believe in having an abortion with like if you're gonna die.
Mhm,
If you're gonna die. Like I don't think anyone is arguing that, but I think if there's like a matter of like abortion is legal or abortion is not legal and there are no parameters in between, they're going to go with.
Yeah. I think it's what I'm going to assume that like these friends of yours are more along the lines of I wouldn't have an abortion, but like I'm not going to like stop being your friend if you get one.
Yeah.
Right. So I would actually call that pro-choice. I would call that pro-choice. Honestly, that like you think ultimately it's the person's choice, right?
But I also think that they love me and I think that they would like for it to not be
Legal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's like the problematic part, right?
I also and the thing is I also grew up in a very different place that where like a lot of those things are present. Like
yeah, I mean, I think like the opinion is like, can you be friends with people who have basically can you be friends with people who have opposing views?
I could never be friends with somebody that was racist or homophobic.
Yeah,
I could not.
Same. I have some friends that I know are Republican, and it's usually like has to do with like finance, which, to be quite honest, I don't get any of it. But then when it comes like the social issues, they're all for like what they're aligned with me. So, So yeah, I guess in short, like yes, I could be friends with someone who has some opposing views, but like you said, if it's
there are hard lines for a couple of them. Yeah.
I know sometimes but like I guess we're in a election year. I feel like a lot of these conversations are going to get brought up again, and they are because I've had some like kind of verbal battles with these friends that I'm referring to, mostly around like 2016 when Trump was running for the first time. That was 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that doesn't happen again because that wasn't fun. But yeah, in short, yes, I can be friends with people with opposing views, depending what they are.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move. I'm over that.
I'm over it.
All right. Oh, so I was playing a game with my friends in Maryland over the weekend, and I'm sorry if I sound congested. That's because I am congested. I kind of feel like shit. But we were playing this game. I forget what the game was, but I remember like I needed to bring this up. So, oh yeah, it was like I'm just gonna say it.
Is this the 420 speaking?
Probably.
Yeah.
So okay, there's 3 things. The best thing that came out of the UK. I'm gonna name 3 things, and you just have to pick the best one.
Okay.
Cheddar cheese, the Beatles, or Harry Potter.
Cheddar cheese.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm the only one in my group that said.
But I'm also like, did cheddar cheese came from the UK?
I guess so. I didn't question that in the time. But
Adam-
everyone there was like the Beatles, the Beatles, the Beatles. I'm like, I think one person said Harry Potter and had to remind them that we don't like J.K. Rowling. But
I do like Harry Potter though. But
it's okay. But we don't like Yeah.
Yeah, but she doesn't align with my values.
Right. But no one said cheddar cheese and everyone thought I was crazy. I was like, I'm sorry, but like, okay, the Harry Potter is cool and all.
Yeah.
The Beatles are great and all, but like
Cheddar cheese?
cheddar cheese changed my life.
But if you're also going to think about like the amount of times that those things have come in contact with you, I do really like Harry Potter. I can probably name one or two Beatles songs. Sue me. But like, I have cheddar cheese at least once a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like people weren't really thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to put some respect on cheddar cheese.
Put some respect. And I'm definitely gonna look up like what does the UK have that they like created cheddar cheese?
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe that's not even
someone give us a history on that.
I'm sure one of
Why do I care?
Well, because you love the British men.
I do. And I want to bring that up. Oh yeah. I love you and something else from your country.
I'm just really
Cheddar
glad.
cheese.
I'm really glad you said cheddar cheese because
Yeah.
I was afraid you might have said Harry
That was
Potter.
really quick.
Okay. Last one. Feminine men are more accepted than masculine women.
Yes.
I disagree.
Oh,
You think feminine men are more accepted than masculine women? Think like the gayest gay man versus like the butchiest lesbian. You think the gay man is more accepted?
yeah.
I don't think so. But that's what this opinion said. They said, yeah, that's what they said. Why do you think so?
Because I feel like even the most feminine man is still a man. And then the woman, not only is she just a woman, but she's like going against societal standards being a masculine woman. So I feel like she's even less accepted than a regular woman.
I guess you can say the same thing either way. But I feel like people have a problem with like feminine, flamboyant men because we're, as a society, are afraid of femininity and like womanhood. You know, it's always like an attack on women. And I think so. I think that like masculine women are more respected. I mean, I don't really ever hear anyone complain about butchy women or, you know, I never hear about it.
Well, yeah, because I don't feel like people are talking about it because they
Yeah.
don't care about them.
But like people like, I guess I am a gay man, I guess. But I don't know if I would classify myself as like super feminine. So I guess I'm speaking from a position that I know way better than the other. I don't have like a whole lot of lesbian friends, or this they didn't even say lesbian; they just said masculine women. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have like a thesis on why I think that, but yeah, I would just, yeah. I said what I said.
I said what I said, and I said what I said.
All right,
What do you guys say?
we have opposing. We have opposing views, and we're still friends.
Oh, today.
Well, that's all we got, folks.
That's what we got.
You know, I'm not feeling well, so I want to go to sleep.
Same.
But maybe we'll have a guest next week. Maybe we won't. I hope you still like us. And yeah,
If you don't, fine.
yeah. But you guys know what to
But
do.
like, please subscribe.
Please subscribe. Our subscribers on YouTube are going up a little
Yeah.
bit. But I want more. I
Yeah.
want more.
Give us more.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching or listening, and we'll
We love you. See you next week.
bye.
Bye.